Hey guys, I'm RomesAimlessly. I am a aspiring artist that is trying to get good at art. In this video is more of a self-critic and documentation of my art process on this illustration of Firefly from Honkai Star Rail. So feel free to share your critiques and opinion with me through the comments down below. I would start with some thumbnail drawing, and I will look up some popular artists and composition guide from Pinterest to kind of give a rough idea on how I would want to present my drawing. I would usually do roughly 3 to 5 thumbnails to kind of gauge on how I would want my illustration to look. However, in this case, I think I did 2. So I went through a bunch of references from Pinterest and used a 3D model in Clip Studio Paint to help me with the perspective for this drawing. For this pose, I took a lot of inspiration from JoJo and Kamen Rider. I kind of want a cool and dynamic pose as she's transforming. As I'm going through my third line work, you can see me chicken scratching a lot as I drew the clothes and the hair. Well, I started losing confidence as I draw them. I wasn't able to kind of get the clothes right. As for the hair, my plan was to make it flowy and swirly, but that was just the plan. And that was just it. And honestly, I drew some random twirls that I felt that the flow of the hair would go. I had trouble finding references for the hair, so I kind of used my assumptions on how the hair would flow. Therefore, my confidence level wasn't the best. That's why there is a lot of chicken scratching in this illustration. I started to realize that the right side kind of feels a little empty and the arm looks kind of weird too. So the best way to resolve this issue is to hide them. So in the result, I enlarge the drawing and hide the hands and kind of fill up the empty space at the right side of the illustration to kind of give some sort of completeness to it. As for layering, I separate them by colors, and I don't want to kind of share my process on this. As you can see, I use a lot of layers. It's like I'm in a all-you-can-eat buffet. On the reason why I'm using so much of them is because there is more of a thought or maybe anxiety on what if I want to change this part of the drawing in terms of colors or I don't know, it just gives me a safety net. As for the shadows, I used a blue multiply layer over and started erasing them to indicate the lighting. So forming shadows was always been my biggest weakness. So I tried forming shadows and started to get hesitant on whether I'm doing right or wrong. But this is actually most of the case. You could tell by the way that I'm erasing bit by bit, looking whether it looks right or wrong. So at this point, this is my biggest obstacle for this drawing. I don't even know what I was doing. With the lack of references, I wasn't able to understand how the shadow will form throughout the hair. So in the result, I took some inspiration from other artists to change the colors and saturations to indicate the hair at the back. After that, I added the darker shadows to indicate the overlap between the hair and added it on the rest of the drawing. On how I decide on adding the darker shadows, I added them where there are some sort of overlapping or places that I think or I assume that the light doesn't reach. So I tunnel vision so hard and I forgot to add the base color of the gadget in her hand. As for the cheeks, I added a slight pink below the eyelid with an airbrush and blended with a soft brush. As I don't want my character to look too pale, I also added a shadow on the upper part of the eye to indicate that the upper eyelid is casting a shadow onto the eye. Then after I added the eyelashes and started working on the iris. Honestly, I didn't work on the eyes that much. I just added some reflections and kinda called it a day. So at this point, I'm just trying to clean up as much as possible and before I add the backgrounds and effects to the illustration. So I started off with the fire. I just drew some tours to the center and tried to add some sort of foreshortening as I made the fire that is closer to the gadget smaller and then bigger as it moves away from it. It's kind of a bad attempt, so I drew some curved triangles and used an eraser tool to make it look like it's fire. And color it with an orange base and use a clipping layers to add some color variation to it. As for the wings, I just color it with a turquoise color and color pick the fire and spray it with a airbrush over the wings to indicate the lighting from the fire. So for the other effects and particles, I just started playing with the different brushes that I have from Clip Studio Paint and use a motion blur to kind of indicate the particles are moving. As for the background, I kept it simple. I could just color it with a low saturation dark blue at the corner and a light purple behind the character. So that is the result of my struggles. Honestly, what I liked most in this illustration was the pose. I definitely had fun drawing the pose, but the rendering process, not really. Anyways, thanks for watching and listening to me yap. Do let me know if you like this kind of content, since this is my first video that I edited. So yeah, do let me know if you like this, and thanks for watching and have a great day ahead. See ya!